Ladies and gentlemen, we're now live. I'm just because you can't really edit these live things, but I am just trying to get that'll do. Get the lighting correct. Few people are in. Evening, you wrong uns. I just need to see if I can go there. Finna. Andy Turner. Hello, Benny. Hello, Andy. Stephen Hall, evening. Alan. Hello, everyone. Diane Brooks. Hey up, you're wrong un. Hello, Diane. And Dr. Kerr C. Hello. Alison Gunnison. Hello, Adrian. Hello, you're wrong un. Simon John Lavender. Hello, Adrian. Right, I'm just getting my my notes together as we do every time we do a live. We just allow people to get their feet under the table. We're here. Oh, the window's not open. I will just make sure, because I was thinking today. Who's an uninvited guest? Hello, Adrian. It's coffee, very strong coffee. Samurai Cup. Hello, Adrian. And Alan. Hello. Just a few few people that are here. Lovely to have you. It looks like, well, I'm possibly tempting fate here, but it looks like technically everything is fine this week. But well, yeah, we'll give them another minute or so. And I was going to say strong coffee, because if I start drinking alcohol while I'm doing one of these, it's proper going to get messy, proper messy. So, oh, I needed that. Thank you very much, darling. Uninvited guest. Great video about Belfield. Looking forward to the rest of them. Thank you very much, the uninvited guest. I'll pass comment about that. And Keith James says, loving your vlogs, Adrian. Thank you, Keith. The I know it was quite a long vlog video, but they do take a lot of prep, because I'm sure you're very aware that English law applies to YouTube, and there's some things that you can say, some things you can't say, some things you can get round for comedy effect, but sometimes you've just got to be very careful. So I'm sure you watch many videos by many very skilled orators. Just have to make sure. Savage Media, smash that thumbs up. So the 30-minute video last night, which I knew it was going to have quite some substance in it. I do hope it's beginning to get. Let's go back to the beginning and do a little explanation while people get their feet under the table. Andy Turner, you're very correct. You learn as you go along. Every day's a school day. Back in the beginning, when I didn't know what I was doing, I still don't know what I'm doing, just a daft lad getting away with it. But a lot of people were watching the videos, and I was getting lots of attacks. Expected them, of course. Phil Sumner, is it wrong that I miss Alex? Despite what he did, loved your frank, honest first video on Belfield. Thank you, Phil. Really appreciate it. But do you know something? And I keep saying this from the very beginning. He's not out the woods by a long stretch. I'm going to ask a simple question before I welcome everyone. Does anyone know if there is a fraud case pending? Because I heard an interview with the lead, police national lead on fraud, and the lead is City of London Police. Now, I don't know whether you have any background to that or know any background to that, but there is a little square mile, and it's one of the richest square miles on earth. Former Templar, Knight Templar square mile. That's why when you go there, there are, I think it's on Fleet Street, there is a Templar, there's 2 Templar Knights on a horse, on a plinth, on the square mile. So originally, that square mile was Templar. And I have a bit of a fascination with the Knights Templars. I mean, it's an amazing story. There's lots of other bits and pieces that I don't particularly want to give away, because I would love to write a book one day about the Templars, because there's so much information hidden in plain sight. So they're the bankers of the world, going back 1,000 years. Wow. I interviewed Belfield at the Lamley. If you want the footage, I can forward to you. I'd love you to. There is an email address connected with the channel, and it's only to do with business. The last person that decided to get a bit fruity was dealt with in no uncertain terms. And any more slaver like that, there will be boys in blue knocking at the door. Because there is a law that was created in 2019. Some people say for the convicted stalker. No, it wasn't for him. It was just modernised. And it's the 2019 Stalking and Harassment Law. And I'll give you, sort of paraphrasing, the harassment law that's in place and on the statute books. And it's basically this. If you send more than 2 emails, so it's called a course of conduct. If you, 2 events, if you harass somebody twice, that can be a provable course of conduct. You're in a court of law. So to the person that I know watches this and decided to get a little bit silly twice, any more of your slaver, you'll be standing in front of the beak. And don't try me. Go and have a look at the stalking and harassment laws. It's very clear what you can and can't do. Very clear. So Savage Media, brilliant. Thank you very much. I'll check it out once I finish the live. Stephen Hall, I was in the city the other day. Stephen, you should have, there's stuff hidden in plain sight in London whenever I can get down there and have a look around. I was once given a tour around Fleet Street with some of the old watering holes and stuff. And London really is a fascinating city. There's so much. When I was in LBC and I was on air one night, and I was talking about just walking about Leicester Square. Have you looked in the pavement in Leicester Square? There's little gold discs in the pavement in Leicester Square that most people miss, because they're either looking up around Leicester Square and there's lots going on, but there's pubs with trees in the middle of them. There's so much to do and see in London. When I was working for LBC, I had the best time. The best time. Just being a tourist. I mean, working in the city and being a tourist. And as I say, I went around this, I was showing this tour, and there's Templar stuff in Fleet Street. I wanted to go to Temple Bar because that was Templar. And what most people don't get around the Knights Templar and their story is they were amazing sailors. And they always, always, always had to have an escape route down a river. So if you're, the Thames is a massive river and very, very fast flowing in places. So that's possibly why. But whenever I go anywhere, I always check out 20 miles from London. Fabulous, Stephen. You can check out the churches that are Templar churches, because they're based on the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem, which I visited. Had one of these nights I'm going to talk to you about a visit. I've been to Jerusalem a couple of times, and I was taken by the most amazing woman. Tell you about her one day. August is a big day. Hi Adrian, Chocolate Frenzy. Keith Thomas, Yakida from Wales. Pwywch tad nawr te. Dusty Bob size. It's only the Welsh. If they can speak Welsh, know what I've just said. Yakida from Wales. Thanks for the live show. Great content. Thank you. Where are we? Yeah, I think it's about time I shut up waffling and got on with it. So, hello YouTubers. Hello world. Oh, hello you wrong'un. Welcome to live number 10. 10th time we've done this, so we're kind of getting there. Yes, ye old trip to Jerusalem, good pub in Nottingham. Alan, do you know that there are certain pubs around? There's one in London. I think that pub in Nottingham, which I've drank a couple of sherbets or 3 in there when I was working for Century 106. that's where they started their pilgrimages to the Holy Land. Phil Sumner, Adrian, can I ask you when was the last time you saw or spoke with Alex Belfield? Ages ago. Why? Does that matter? I haven't seen him while he's in jail. Andy Turner, as AB will not be able to do live stuff, I think he will do a book about stuff. I think the only thing that I'm going to get to that Gav's weather videos. Somebody's asked a question I'm going to address about that. I think it's going to be tough for young Alex when he comes out, for a couple of reasons. One, these stalking prevention orders are pretty stringent and they're tough. There's also stuff in place that means he's got to, it depends what his release conditions are. When he leaves, there will be conditions for the following 2.5 years. And it will be himself or an agent in his stead. So there will be conditions. Currently, he can't talk about the case in any way, shape or form. He can't talk about the 8 people that were the complainants in the case at all. Online, offline, on stage, anywhere. Can't do it. Yeah, well, I kind of agree with you, Alan. I think that it depends what happens over the next couple of years. It depends whether he has this epiphany, whether he has, as I've said before in the videos that I've done, we are merely here. We are merely an eternal being having a human experience. And he is here to meet himself. He is the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, experiencing itself as consciousness. So he has to do what he has to do while he's here, because he's merely reflecting that consciousness back to the great conscious. Maybe I've gone a bit too deep for you there, but he's going to have to do what he has to do. He's going to have to meet himself in jail and get an understanding of himself, because if he comes out and is just full of piss and vinegar, he's absolutely going to go back into jail, because he's going to make a mistake. And that's why I keep saying, I do hope when he comes out that there are good people around him that will be able to give him very, very wise counsel. And the wisest counsel, head down, disappear. He's going to try, look, the money that he made, he's going to try that again. He's going to try the stage stuff again. Is there an audience there? Well, I've just got one thing to say. Where's the money gone? Where's the money gone that he asked for because he was going to sue the BBC and Nottinghamshire Police? People won't forget that. And there are old folk, and I had somebody on here who said that they had a relative that gave Alex, because he thought he was genuine, and gave him a lot of money to his own detriment, as in the person that was sending Alex the money. But that question needs to be answered before anybody will trust whatever he's going to say, because you can't come out and go, on your knees with Belfield. He's going to have to tell people where the money went. And no good donating 20 grand to charity. Where'd the money go? Because there needs to be transparency through all of it. But whether that happens, who knows? Anyway, let's, firstly, the next live is May 14th. May 14th. As I keep saying, there's a lot going on in my life, and I truly need time to get sort of in the right place to do one of these. And so I don't want to, we're building up to, at some point, doing phone-ins, because I love doing them. Unsure when. Technically, we've had a look at that with some very close friends. We've had a look at it, and we do believe it's doable. And I don't want to do a phone-in unless it has a professional air to it. Having done it on commercial radio for nigh on 40 years. I don't want to just do stuff where it looks a bit haphazard and ragged. So yes, we are looking at it, and it's going to be a few months. So in the meanwhile, we're going to do lives whenever I can. So I don't want to do them again unless they're to a professional standard, and when I've got stuff to talk about. Now, this week is a pretty important week. Before I get to that, I want to wish you happy Star Wars Day for tomorrow. May the 4th be with you. I mean, the press will pick up on it, but, you know, it's just one of those things. I was a Jedi Knight in the census in 2000. I was living on my own. I thought, why not? So there's technically, there's over 250,000 of us. So it has to be recognised as a religion. I'm a Jedi Knight and a ninja. Genuinely. So happy Star Wars Day for tomorrow. And I want to ask you, it's a fairly serious question. But Junior Stevens, hello Adrian. Pink Rose is hired, you know. I hope he gets psychotherapy while he's inside. He needs help and support. Pink Roses, I think you'll find that Alex is being given support in jail, because what they want to see is contrition and him understanding his actions and the repercussions of. So people will be analysing him, and they will be giving him the support that they can give. But I've said to you in the video last night, he can't be told. He simply can't be told. But maybe, just maybe, the gentle Alex that I know is in there, because I witnessed it, I hope he comes to understand himself and is able to reappear into the light in 2.5 years and kind of get what he did. Yes, he made a lot of money, but he would be stupid if he's to come out and try and do that again, because we want to know where the money went that people donated for his legal fund that he never used to sue the BBC or Nottinghamshire Police. How long have I known Alex? 1998. However long that is. 25 years? Yeah, 25 years. So I want to get to the Royals because it's the story. I saw a piece about some guy chucking live ammo in the Buckingham Palace over the fence. I don't even know. I mean, I looked at some of the reportage that's online, and I don't. Smells a bit fishy. That's all I'm going to say about that. But I want to ask you, and I know a lot of people are chatting. Simon, John, Lavender, Adrian, money is in champagne sippers. Simon John. That's the money he made from the live shows. That's the money he made from YouTube. That's not the donation money. Champagne Sippers was after the majority of the donations were made. That's possibly Alex Belfield Productions, but it's gone somewhere. And do you know, if Alex comes out and goes, can you remember Jimmy Swaggart? There's a story for you. In the 80s, there was a preacher in America. I call it the Jimmy Swaggart moment. So he was off. Hang on, how far in are we? Jimmy Swaggart was the minister of this massive TV. He was a TV evangelist, and his church made millions of dollars, millions and millions. But what did Jimmy spend it on? Coke and whores. So he was dancing with the girlies and made sure his nose was clear. So Jimmy Swaggart got caught by the cops. And he got caught. So, look, all these millions are coming into your church and paying for the dancing girlies and the Colombian marching powder. So what does he do? I mean, this is why I'm telling you the story. Is Alex going to come out and have this Jimmy Swaggart moment where Jimmy Swaggart went on the telly, live on the telly, and said, I have sinned. I have sinned. Give me your money. So Jimmy Swaggart comes out after serving a little time in jail. You know, it's the biggest story of the day. Coke and Halls, Jimmy Swaggart comes out and then wants millions again. I just hope he doesn't come out and has his Jimmy Swaggart moment. I have sinned. I bet you have. Give us the money. Donate it back. Give it to every single person, because he did say he was going to return it. The uninvited guest, apparently the guy who threw the live ammo into the courtyard of Buckingham Palace, was crying for help because of mental health issues, according to the news reports. Well, the piece that I saw, and I haven't really had a chance to read the papers today, but the piece I saw was he was quite pro-royal in some of the stuff that he's done in the past. So maybe it wasn't it wasn't an attack on the king or the royal family. As you say, uninvited guest, it was merely him saying, look, and mental health services are in crisis at the moment. People are just not getting the support or help that they really need. There's a lot of, especially after lockdown, there's a lot of very poorly puppies on the streets of this country. And I do hope that the people that lead us recognise that. People that were in lockdown for a couple of years, we need mental health support for a lot of people. Look at the kids. The kids, you know, in their formative years were kept away from their mates at school. They were locked in the house all the time. So locking a human being for virtually 2 years in the house, it was brutal. We all went through it. Brutal. Some of us played by the rules, some of us didn't. But irrespective of that, the mental health crisis that we now see writ large right in front of us, we need the mental health services to be bolstered, to be given more finances and money to be able to support the people that they need to be able to support. Because at the moment, I would suggest it's a crisis on the streets. Definitely. Junior Stevens, when will Alex be released? Another 2.5, how long has he served? 6 months. So it'll be about another 2 years, 3 months, 2025. Summer 2025. Belinda Jane Harris, evening. Pink Roses. You better take it easy on the sniffers, Adrian, or you won't have a septum left. Who was it that it was the EastEnders actress Daniela Westbrook? Her septum went. One of the lads in Status Quo, his septum went. Because look, Columbia marching powder was the party drug 70s and 80s. And radio at one point was awash with it. Now, I'm mad as it is. I've never done an illegal recreational drug in my life, and I have no intention of. So, I mean, coffee's bad enough, Jesus. I can go running through walls once I've had a cup of coffee. Don't need the Columbia marching powder, but I do know that. Evening Holden official. Holden officials just said, good to see you in the chat tonight. Just had an interview with Craig from the wonderful world of mental health talking about these issues, and you're 100% correct, Adrian. Thank you, Holden. I'll be in touch. I won't take it into the public domain, but I will be in touch, I promise. It's just been insanely busy. Retro on his bikes. YouTube is a strange beast. They banned John Campbell because, yeah, I heard that, but they haven't banned him. They've only banned him. So they've banned him for a week. They haven't banned him permanently. Seemingly it's a first strike. That's what happens. So let me get on to what I wanted to talk about, you wrong uns. You're distracting me, man. Oh, for goodness sake, let me take a gulp of coffee. So happy Star Wars Day for the 4th tomorrow. Can you imagine the politicians? Holden, thank you. Will do. Now, I want to ask you something very serious. This oath to the king, before I get to that, because it references his youngest son. Where's Harry? I mean, is he here? Is he going? Isn't he going? Has he left the yacht girl back in the States? Has he left his kids? They're his kids, not hers. His. And that's how they're in the line of succession. She's never popped them out. That was a moon bump. So Harry's over here without the kids, without the missus, without any hassle. Probably with, no, don't say that. It's illegal. I'll leave him alone. But nobody knows where he is. Do you know why? And the press are not saying this. Well, they can't really, can they? Because he's got the crosshairs on his back. He's got a target on his back. Can you remember? I've killed all those Afghanistanis. He's the target. He's putting the royal family at threat. So the papers report and say, he's not here. Don't know where he is. Don't know where he's staying. They're making that up because it's a security risk. Oh, Lord. I remember seeing her, thank you, Junie Stevens. I remember seeing Lorde on Jules Holland. The very first time, her dancing was just amazing. What a great song. So I am a fan. I am a fan. Not Madonna's daughter, French artist. Wonderful. So Harry is a security risk. They're not going to have him anywhere near any of the royals anywhere soon, including on Saturday. I mean, they've got tens of thousands of soldiers on the streets of London and cops, tens of thousands. It is, security is going to be tighter than a fish's backside. And, you know, this is what we do as a country. This is what we've done for 1,000 years. Somebody was saying it was since King Edwin in 973. I thought it was Athelstan. I thought Athelstan was the first king of all England. So it would have been, but then again, he kind of made it all England during his monarchy. So I don't know when we're the first king. Are they bringing the stone of scone or whatever they're going to stick under the, that he's going to be anointed on the chair? The stone, is it going to go under the chair, or are the Scots kicking off again about it? But the point I'm trying to make is that Harry is a liability, a huge liability, security. So that's why he'll be in there, but nobody will know where he is unless the cameras catch him, of course. And the cameras will be trying to seek him out. And a candle, just the one. So Harry's not around. But so ordinarily it's called the homage of the peers. Now all the royal dukes would pay their homage. Remember Prince Philip, when the Queen, he was the first one up, your liege man, he paid his homage to the missus when she was crowned. They're saying, and this didn't happen for the Queen's coronation, that when they anoint the monarch with the oil, you're not allowed to see that, because that's between the monarch and God, when you're anointed with the sacred oil. And my take on that, I think, realistically, we should see it all. Let us know. If we are to be this man, this king's subjects, let us see his coronation in whole, in total. But Harry, I think, is being hidden because of the security risks. And people saying, where is he? We know where he is. We know where he's going to be. But we don't want terrorists knowing where he is and where he's going to be, because they'll be after him. And when he was in Afghanistan, there was an agreed press blanket. There was no press coverage at all. So we'll get to, so Harry is persona non grata. But he'll be there. But he won't be paying homage to his dad. Sorry, Charles, King Charles. Hewitt's not his dad. There's a video coming. I bought a book recently called The King and Die. You can't get it for love nor money. It cost a lot of money for me to buy it. But I'm going to do some videos about it because the book says that Prince Charles was basically Princess Diana's carer. I'll give you the detail once I've read it. So I want to talk about this. This is the oath. I think they're going to put it up on screen and it is being put up on screen for people to swear the oath to the newly crowned king. And the oath is, I swear that I will pay true allegiance to your majesty and to your heirs and successors according to law. So help me God. That's the oath. It's going to come up on screen. And there's a bit of kerfuffle going on with the priestly class going, well, it's optional. You can if you want. You don't have to. Is that something that you're going to do? Now, I've seen a lot of polls, and it's kind of 50-50. 50 are saying my king, and 50% are saying not my king. But if the oath is on the screen, are you going to say it and then deny saying it to all your pals? Would you say it when it comes on screen? I swear that I will pay true allegiance to your majesty and to your heirs and successors according to law. So help me God. Depends what you define as God. Certainly not the Roman God. Kiddie fiddling nonsense. Oh, did I say that out loud? And here's the other elephant in the room that people are not really, they're kind of talking about it, but they're not. And I wanted to sort of discuss it. King Charles III, as he will be known from Saturday. But Queen Camilla. So let's talk about the elephant in the room. Daily Mirror today, very naughty. They had Princess Diana on the front. Today, Saturday would have been the day she would have been queen. Oh, that's a bit. So, Prince Philip was never King Philip. He was Prince Philip, the Queen's consort. So, I know that the Queen, Elizabeth the Great, turned round and said, I'm happy for Camilla to be known as Queen Camilla when I shuffle off. And I'm sure it's Charles, the love of his life. So you always try to make your missus happy, don't you? So maybe she wants to be known as Queen Camilla. Does that stick in your throat? Would it not have been slightly better to initially call Camilla Queen Consort, so everybody could get used to the word Queen and Camilla being in the same epithet or sentence, if you wish? Would it not have been just a little bit better if it was Queen Consort for the moment and then Queen Camilla later? Like I say, Prince Philip, what a boy. I mean, there are some stories that I've read in some of my books in my archive. He was some boy. And he was involved in some stuff that I am absolutely not going to reveal here. What do you think I am, stupid? But will you be happy to call Camilla Queen Camilla from Saturday? That's all I'm asking you. Some of your comments. Belinda Jane Harris, couldn't care less. Retro on his bike. Star Wars weekend. Sea Moon Maria, good to see you again. Hi Adrian, evening everybody, I'm late. Sea Moon. To a Russian that I can't pronounce the name of because it's not in English. Hello. Rich Jones, The Empire Strikes Back. Interesting. So Queen Camilla, yes or no? And the oath to the king, yes or no? I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, on the one hand, I couldn't care less, but on the other, it's history. Not that, in 100 years, I'm going to be able to tell grandkids or great-grandkids. I've got no kids. Well, I swore allegiance to the king. Because it's like, everybody in the army, they've all been in the SAS. So I can genuinely say I was working for the Harrods organisation. I was running Fayed's radio station on the Brompton Road when Diana was murdered. Oh, that's what I was going to ask you. Well, that's the story I was going to tell you. So you know how, I don't even know whether you're happy with the royal mainstay of this evening's live, but I can only ever say what I see and what I hear with my own peepers and my own ears. So I heard a story, because I'd always questioned, can you remember? Now, well, you probably weren't around in 1980, and I was only a young boy at the time. I was. 1980? God blimey. Can you remember when Charles and Diana were going to get married? And Diana's dad was interviewed on the telly. And Diana's dad said, "Oh yes, my daughter's a virgin." And I was watching the newscast thinking, that's a bit off. That's not like, daddy's girls. Daddies don't kind of go to prospective husbands or families. "Oh yeah, my daughter's a virgin." They just don't do that, do they? So I was like, why is he? Couldn't work it out. I knew there was a rabbit away, because you just don't. And it was, as my ninja teacher once taught me for some of the exercises that we used to do, it's the presence of the extraordinary in the ordinary. So the presence of Diana's dad going, "Oh yeah, my daughter's a virgin," that's the extraordinary in the ordinary. I could never figure out why he said that, because there was obviously Newton's second law or first law? For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. I was absolutely sure that there was something going on. Anyway, a few years down the line, I always keep my ears open, because I'll pick stuff up. So I'm talking to someone who shall remain nameless, but the source is impeccable. I was in London at the time, working in media, and they told me this story. Now, whether this story is true or not, I just don't know, because how could I have proof of this being true? Harvey Upton, will Charles pledge allegiance to his subjects of the United Kingdom? Well, his man did. She said she would pledge her allegiance and to her subjects. Be interesting to see what exactly. I wish we could watch the Queen's coronation in full, but they cut away when she had the oil on her, when she was anointed by this very, very, very sacred oil. I hope he does. So this story, we've got Diana's dad, 1980. My daughter's a virgin. A few years later, I'm in London. I'm working in the media, and I'm having a beer with somebody. This impeccable source, but it has to remain nameless. And he said, "Why do you think her dad did that?" So there is something going on, but I can't quite work out what it is. And he said, "Because she wasn't." So what do you mean? Her dad said she was. No, she wasn't. So this apocryphal story goes that one of the hired help on the estate, coquettish Diana, was giving him the eye. Legal age. And one day, in the height of the sunshine, it went a bit far, and the hired help, how can I put this, deflowered the daughter of the Lord. So the people in the village, when he used to go to the village and having a couple of sherbets, somebody would always buy him a pint and go, "Tell us that time about when you deflowered the daughter of the Lord." And he would tell them. And then all of a sudden, Diana's marrying Charles. And it's the run up to the wedding. So the villagers would like, "Oh, go on, there's another beer, there's a free beer. Tell us that story again." Tell them the story. And then men in dark suits and sunglasses start appearing in the village. So the locals were like, "Yeah, did you see them boys with suits and sunglasses?" "Yeah." "What were they doing in the village?" "Dunno, must be the royal wedding." So this hired hand They would go, here's a beer, tell us the story. No. What do you mean, no? You've been telling us for ages. Here's a beer, tell us the story. No, I'm going home. I'm not going to, I don't know what you're talking about. So the boys in the suits and the sunglasses appeared in the village, and certain people were told. Now, whether that's true or not, I have no idea. I mean, it sounds like a great story. Maybe it's apocryphal. But why did her dad go on national TV and say, my daughter's a virgin? I mean, you just don't do that, do you? Have a bit of class, man. I wonder. Templar's Fugit again tonight. I was going to tell you about the household name. How can I put this? I'll save it for another live. But I was in work one day. I won't even tell you where, and I won't tell you how or when or anything, so you can't identify them. There is something in law called the jigsaw theory, which I'm not going to allow you to use. You can't identify someone by bits, so to speak. Jigsaw. That's why it's called the jigsaw theory. But I'm going to read some of your comments, because I'm going to say this to some of the people that have left comments. Your perception of me is a reflection of you. My response to you is an awareness of me. So I kind of get that I upset some people because I do these videos about someone that I know and have called my friend in the past. This is not you thinking you know someone when you absolutely have no clue. But it's water off a duck's back for me. So we'll start with Brian Clark. Thank you, Brian. Comment on the video from last night. Adrian, like a lot of people, I was fooled by him. And when it all came out, it left me shocked and numb. I have more or less gotten over it now. Your explanation of his character and flaws is a real eye-opener, Adrian. I'll be watching your videos about AB with interest. Thank you, Brian. And to anybody else, I'll sort of put the line in the sand. Yes, I know you love the Alex Belfield videos, but I'm much, much, much more than that. And there are other things that I want to get to. Junior Stevens, what was Alex like, truthfully? Well, stay with the channel. Make sure you've subscribed. Peter Hogben, Adrian, I used to like young Alex, in your words. He helped a lot during lockdown. I agree. But after the insight into his character you've given us here, he sounds like a real piece of work, especially the part you mentioned about going after someone's mother to sue them. Disgusting behaviour. Gary Hill, thanks, Adrian. Very eye-opening stuff indeed, though nothing too surprising. Narcissists, and Alex is a classic example of one. Never forget those they perceive to have wronged them and always hold a grudge, in some cases for a lifetime. I agree, Gary, but that's why I said at the beginning of this live, I'm hoping that he meets himself and recognises that some of his behaviour is unacceptable in today's society. Unacceptable. And as I said in the last video, some people thought they were going to lose their business, their job, their livelihood, their marriage, their everything because of him. And in one case, even their own life. So I do hope the system can support him. I do hope that he comes out a changed man. And he does Jimmy Swaggart. I have sinned. Give me money. Although I don't think people will now. Manuel Hung. Love it. Fascinating info and insight, Adrian. Always surprises me when you see someone who is intelligent but has zero self-awareness, like Belfield. Would be fascinating to know his upbringing. I'd guess, at an overprotected and mollycoddled kid and maybe parents who made him feel that he could do no wrong. In Belfield's mind, it seems the whole world's out of step with him. A guy who thinks he can fling shite over your fence, but if you dare throw it back, all hell breaks loose. Manuel Hung, I agree. Yes, I'm aware of, and I am going to, in these 10 things you never knew about Alex Belfield, I'm going to touch on his childhood upbringing, because I think there's horror there somewhere. Nick, evening Adrian, thank you for your efforts in making this video. I think your appraisal was fair and measured, and I enjoyed hearing your perspectives of the events that led up to Alex's incarceration. Even though I was a Voice of Reason fan, I would like to thank you for your insights and the balanced way in which you presented them. Thank you very much. Alan Pape. At last we seem to be hearing just why Alex turned out the way he has and why he has ended up losing his freedom. I hope we are a lot wiser at the end of these 10 videos. Chocolate Frenzy. He really did threaten to sue everyone he came into contact with. He said it time and time and time again on his channel. Now his old followers use it as a mantra too. Well, I think, Chocolate Frenzy, I think those that will do, and those that won't say they will. Interesting. Kevin Etheridge, very interesting and informative vlog, so thanks Adrian. I've already started joining the dots. So it seems Alex holds a grudge against Bernie because Bernie, in good faith, recommended Alex for a job that went wrong. So Alex probably thought Bernie wanted him out of the way because Alex had eyes on Bernie's job. That would probably be Alex's take on it. So paranoia sowing seeds for vengeance. As for Jeremy Vine being Alex's mentor to teach him the BBC way, was that at BBC Radio Leeds? Yes, it was, Kevin. Yes, it was. And, you know, that's a real good take on, as I said in the video, Bernie was just being Bernie, just a real kind-hearted soul and just wanted Alex to do well. So give him a hand up, give him a leg up into a radio station that neither Bernie or Alex knew how it was going to turn out. And Alex was keen for it in the beginning, as he told me. But how it turned out? He still won in court, though. But it was a tribunal. It wasn't a magistrate's or a high court or anything. It was a tribunal that he won at. Gavin Partridge, thanks for the insights, Adrian. Looking forward to the remaining 9 parts. One question, though. Did the rugby injury eventually morph into the allegation that the BBC had him beaten up? Or was that something else? No, the BBC beating him up wasn't the rugby injury. The rugby injury happened when he was doing a stunt for BBC Children in Need that went wrong. Robin Jones. He was a very driven but strange guy who believed he was invincible. Another very insightful take on that, Robin. Thank you for that. Emma L. He was a very driven but strange guy who believed he was invincible. Very deep, very insightful. Emma L. Thanks for a great video, Adrian. Very insightful. I already knew that Jeremy Vine had mentioned Alex at the BBC. The irony that the man who wanted to sue everyone is now being sued himself twice and could end up bankrupt again. He never learned his lesson. Well, I hope time on his own is allowing him that insight. Seaside. Interesting stuff. The plot thickens. To Jedekiah. I'm almost racing through these so we can get them in before the end of the live. Jedekiah. Interesting stuff, Adrian. Much of what you say doesn't surprise me in the slightest, but it does explain Alex's actions. There has always been a deep-rooted jealousy within him, which I always found difficult to overlook. I was going to say it's always bubbling beneath the surface, but it's more blatant than that. It really has always been in plain sight. That's why, despite me finding him quite addictive viewing, I've never been able to take to him wholeheartedly like some. There does seem to be narcissistic traits in his behaviour, and just like his behaviour towards Bernie and Jeremy Vine, he'd chop down anyone, his die-hard fans included. Just listening to how disrespectful he can be to them on his phone-in is evidence enough. Alex's hair falling out shows vulnerability, but that's a feature he desperately tries to hide when presenting his YouTube channel. It's a pity he's his own worst enemy because he does have much to offer and is genuinely talented, but he's never truly been able to modulate it in a way that shows him in the best light. Yes, those celebrity interviews show Alex at his very best. There are few who can touch him in that regard, and certainly not those from his own generation. He genuinely gets the best out of them and does his homework. The other stuff, he's quick-witted and there's never a dull moment, but much of it is bluster. I'll give you a little insight because this is it is coming in one of the other videos, but I do believe that the bullying that Alex was subject to in his formative years means that as an adult, he needs to control everyone because he doesn't know whether they're going to be a bully, friend or foe. So he controls everyone. And as a phone-in host, and I don't consider him to be one, as a phone-in host, there has to be an element of empathy and sympathy. And as someone once said, yeah, sympathy, it's between shit and syphilis in the dictionary. But you have to have a softness when it is called for. But you have to be sometimes really brutal, again, when it's called for. But you can't just be one way. You can't be soft and teary and uncalled for when someone is genuinely struggling with someone, and be tough and batter someone when they are crying for help. It's a tough gig being a phone-in host, I'll tell you. It is a tough gig. Adrian, this isn't new. It's either stuff Adrian has covered before or, like suing the BBC, what Adrian calls the important one. It's been in the public domain for ages and something that many of us have discussed on numerous occasions. Well, you haven't discussed it with me. And not everything came out in the court case. Not everything. And I think you'll find if you watch the video again, there's subtleties in there that I don't make blatant. And you have to get the layers and the subtleties. So yes, the BBC was important, but the first radio station was probably more important than anything that followed. Capital Gold nearly ruined him. I mean, I used to spend every night talking to him before he went on air, and he was at his wit's end. That getting his stuff. He was a master at ligging and blagging. He was a master at getting freebies, and then freebies going to other people. Oh, blimey. Turned him apoplectic with rage. But so then he started rubbing people up the wrong way. He just started doing what Alex has always done. And he used it as a sport. He was mousing them. He used it as sport. Outside pool. I get the impression Adrian was shunned by Alex for his own creepy behaviour towards him. The boy was 17. Adrian was in his 30s, and he calls us wrong uns. Outside pool. That is uncalled for. That. Let me tell you this. I'm straight. Alex isn't. So there was absolutely nothing like that going on. Absolutely nothing. And for you to say that is, I can't even find the words. I call you wrong uns because it's a friendly term. That's offensive. Horrendously offensive. And Alex will tell you. Our friendship wasn't like that at all. He was one of the best phone-in call answerers I've ever had. And he made me look good. So it was a 17-year-old that had huge ambitions. He wanted to be on the radio and wasn't. And I gave him a leg up. I've already told you in a previous video. I helped that boy stay at Century 106, which helped launch his whole career. All of it. So no, don't be so turgid and offensive outside pool. There's absolutely no need for that. Nothing went on between Alex and I. I prefer women. Always have done, always will do. I was just trying to help Alex, as Bernie did, getting him the gig at the radio station. But that's offensive. It will be taken down because it's offensive. It makes so much sense now, knowing what we know. Jennifer, this all lines up with what a friend of his told me. Interesting, Jennifer. I wonder who that friend would be. Quirks and features. Get to the part where Belfield was discovered to be gay and threatened to sue people who wanted to out him. When did that happen? Was that during lockdown or something? I've always said I don't think he's gay. He's complex, for sure. Pink Roses. This very famous person that Alex was going to sue, is that the same person that apparently badly abused him? If that's the case, it's not surprising he tried to sue him. Not going to touch that with a barge pole. It could get us into a whole lot of hot water. NC, most of this is old news, much of which was in the court case. NC, I think you find it wasn't. Apart from the alopecia, which is a very distressing condition for the sufferers of it, I agree completely. I need to ask you, Adrian, why you can't leave Alex alone? Yes, I can. Have you noticed that I don't just do Alex Belfield videos? But have you seen the audience that these videos get? There is an appetite. And whilst there is an appetite, and I have the personal lived experience, I will relate it, as I will other radio stories and other things. He's been found guilty and paying for his wrongdoing. He can't defend himself as he is in prison. He didn't defend himself when he was in a bloody court, let alone a prison. I personally found him to be very talented and an amusing entertainer. I know he's far from perfect, but who is? Me. I think it's time for you to, I'm joking, I think it's time for you to find your own stop button and leave him alone. Don't be stupid. Show me the money. Where's the money? Where's the money? Give me the money. I'm going to sue the BBC. Give me the money. I'm going to sue Nottinghamshire Police. Give me the money. Where'd it go? It's called fraud. Where'd it go? I'll wait. Pink Roses. Very interesting, Adrian. I know some of the story, but thank you for filling in the blanks. I always said he didn't have anyone to support him and keep him on the right path. He seems quite a lonely man, which is so sad. I don't think he's ever had many friends, except me and a couple of others, all of which I know. He gives the impression he has autistic traits or a personality disorder. I feel sorry for him being bullied. That was unkind and wrong. Alex is definitely a gifted and talented man and could have had an amazing career. Will you be revealing who was the lady he took to Vegas? Pink Roses, no, I'm not going to reveal that. I just think it's for them to say. It's not for me to sort of out them, because the blast radius around Alex is quite large. So anybody being named by anyone on YouTube or anywhere else can cause damage. So I don't particularly want to bring that person into this arena at all, because that's not my place, and nor should I do it. But thank you, Pink Roses. Thy N, far from perfect, a pathological liar, conman, fraudster, and convicted stalker. That is some understatement. As far as what Adrian is saying, yes, pretty much of it all has been said already or is in the public domain. And I personally find him very long-winded and repetitive. But it is his choice what he says and our choice whether to watch. Of course it is. But I think you'll find that a lot of what I'm saying was either put into the public domain by me or by me, because nobody else knew. Nobody else knew about the comedians that he was using the gags from. Bob Monkhouse, Bernard Manning, and Doddy. Nobody had that insight. It was me that put it into the public domain. So I can use my lived experiences as many times as I want. RL, locked up for longer than some murderers. British justice is a sad joke, and ignoring this to focus on womanly gossip, irrelevance will be to all your detriment. Stalking via emails? Come on, get real, you dopey poms. RL, do you struggle with both of your IQ points running in tandem? Stalking via emails? As I said in the video last night, some of his victims thought they were going to lose their livelihood, their businesses, their marriage, everything. Would you sit there? What would you do? If you thought somebody was attacking you and you were going to lose everything, what would you do? Paul Mabley, I wonder if Gobshite Hopkins has been visiting him in the big house. No, they won't let her in. Tried twice, knocked back both times. Can't get in for the moment. No idea why that would be, would you? Andy Sinsky, I've read the 2 police detectives, including DC Janet Percival, have received the Chief Constable's commendation for bringing down the vile stalker. Congratulations to them both, says Andy. Let's hope she successfully sues him for everything he's got. Well, he's been proven to be a convicted stalker. Let's see how it goes. Court case is not for a few months yet, though. Retro on his bike. Does that explain why he purchased a lot of his followers? Remember when his numbers went up by 1,000 or 2,000 once or twice weekly? I wasn't watching him then, Retro. BSD Junkie. I'm guessing that this was a demonstration of an old DJ trick of padding 2 minutes of material in the 30. Tell you what, BSD Junkie. Going to make you an offer. Because you've been very vociferous in your opinion of both me and the channel. Let's do a live together. I'm sure you're adept. I'm sure that you will do the prep. I'm sure you will be the consummate professional. So come on, me and you, anytime you want. Emma L, I think gifted and talented is stretching it a bit. Have you seen him on stage? No. I've been in the theatre when he's watched Doddy, though. However, I have always thought his strengths was his interviewing skills and not his performing skills. Yeah, I kind of agree as an interviewer, but coming out as a convicted stalker, I think showbiz might be a little hesitant about engaging with him again. Retro on his bikes. Most trolls haven't got the gut to go face to face. I agree with you, but there's the offer. BSD Junkie, there's the offer. We can either do gags or we can do phone in or whatever you want. I'm sure you'll be the consummate professional. The uninvited guest, we've got a couple more and then that'll be it. The uninvited guest, good video, Adrian. I hope the victims of Alex can now put it to rest and get on and enjoy their lives now he's behind bars. Thank you for that. And Alan Pape, at last we seem to be hearing just why Alex turned out the way he has and why he has ended up losing his freedom. And Nick, for the final comment. Evening, Adrian. Thank you for your efforts in making this video. I think your appraisal was fair and measured, and I enjoyed hearing your perspective of the events that led up to Alex's incarceration. Even though I was a VOR fan, I would like to thank you for your insights and the balanced way in which you presented them. You see, it's the intelligent people that get what I do. I'm not suggesting that... I was going to call this channel The Wise and the Simple. Some have got it. Some haven't got a clue what I'm talking about. And it's the people that get it that I'm talking to. So, thank you. What did he say? The wise and the simple. No, I'm not going to give you a clue. I might do it on another video. We've overrun by a couple of minutes. I apologise for that. It's normally just an hour, but at the beginning I wanted to talk about it's Coronation Week. This is maybe a once in a lifetime event. It could be a twice in a lifetime event. I don't think Charles is going to be on the throne for long. Not because of anything nefarious, but simply because he's an old boy and he's not very well. Did you see one of the front pages of the newspapers today? Annie Watt got it. Brilliant, Annie. maybe just for one or two videos. The wise and the simple. Feels like Del Boy. Trotter Independent Trading Company. Or was it Trotter Independent Trading something or other? So Charles has got fat fingers because that indicates that he's not very well. So I wish him Godspeed and I wish him long life as king and monarch of these sceptred isles. But maybe William will be king soon. My name's Adrian Allen. Thank you for your likes, your subscriptions, but most of all your indulgence. The next live is May 14th from memory. Thank you to all who left the comments. I will catch up with them afterwards and then I'll answer them in a video over the next few days. Another Belfield video coming very, very soon. More radio archive coming very, very soon. And opinions and takes on some of the other stuff that's happening in our lives, because I think in May something is imminent. Something. but I'm not going to bring it here. I'll bring it in another video. Look after yourself, as Jerry Springer once said. I'll catch you in the next video and the next live.